Ananda Studio Life is back in session because it is cold outside, which means I'm inside too much and I need your company. There have been some changes since last year. One is that is Jammers. He's my friend that lives in the corner of my studio, so you'll be seeing a lot of him. I figured today we'd talk about ruined paintbrushes because I got a stack. Yep, that's right. That's about 2 weeks worth of ruined paintbrushes. There's a dried palette. This one's special. Palette that's dried on both sides. So, it's what I like to call Rehab Day in the studio. And the fun part is going to be seeing how many of these brushes I can redeem. Some of them are more dried than others. But you will notice that they are all short-handled student brushes so that I can throw them away if I fail to redeem them. My approach to redeeming paintbrushes is threefold. First, we try just mineral spirits. If I have a couple brushes that I used last night, they'll be fine with the mineral spirits. They don't need a heavy-duty cleaning. But if that doesn't work, then we turn up the heat and we move to real turpentine. It has way higher cutting power than mineral spirits does. Sometimes I'll soak the cheaper brushes in it for a while and see if that works. It does usually get at least like the outside paint off, but the problem with dried paint in your paintbrush is that it gets down in the ferrule and it makes it so that only the tip of the brush moves, and you really need the whole thing to move to get the paint out. So phase 3 for brush rehabilitation is my Fells Naphtha. It's a laundry detergent bar, and it's a stain remover, so it does a pretty good job of breaking up all the oil that's dried in the brush. If it's really bad, like some of these are really bad, I'll get them all soapy in the soap and let them sit overnight and then try to get all the soap out. Works 75% of the time. So I'm going to spend the next hour dutifully cleaning brushes, and then I'll pick it up there. I'm going to show you in a different episode how to redeem a palette, but that's also on my menu for today. But you can't have it all at once, right? So I'll be back. Results are in. I only lost 5 brushes out of that whole set. Now, some of them are not exactly in the shape that they should be in, but I did think of a few things while I was busily cleaning brushes. One is sables. If you own a sable, they have this incredible little point, right? That's what makes a sable wonderful. For that reason, I never buy a sable any bigger than this. A really big sable you load up with a lot of paint, and you're kind of, I guess you could make like a big happy fat brush stroke with it, but for that I would use a bristle brush, which are the easiest brushes to clean. You can beat them up with turp. They just get pointier as they get older. They're fantastic. Sables are very delicate little creatures. Actually, this is a Kolinsky sable. It's no longer available in the United States, so we're all going to have to switch over to red sable, I guess. But the reason that we like sable for a brush, and what makes it tricky to clean, is that the tail of the sable animal actually grows in that characteristic bell shape. And so they only pluck the tail hairs to make this perfect point. They just arrange the hairs, which are naturally curved. Well, if you ruin the brush and it won't snap back to that bell shape, you can't trim it back to that bell shape. This isn't like a haircut where it gets more and more pointy. These are the actual hairs are actually growing like that in the animal. So also very fragile, right? Because they're a natural hair. Turpentine is really, really, really hard on brushes in general, but on your natural hair brushes it's going to just like shorten their life like crazy. So generally I only soap and water my sables, and that's what I did today. I just kept putting it through the soap and putting it through the soap. This one was like, he was in intensive care for a minute. I thought I was going to lose him. Got him. Which is good, because it's like an $8 brush. I don't want to lose him. Another thing I thought of was maybe considering keeping your bad paintbrushes. Like if you really ruin them, I keep the handles and make sculpture tools out of them. So no waste. And my last note is fan brushes. How to clean them and what the ideal fan brush should look like. I tend to not clean my fan brushes, which is a terrible idea. But I like big, soft, synthetic fan brushes because all I ever want to do with a fan brush is knock down ridges on my paint. I don't want to blend or fan away edges or drag them through the paint in any kind of way. So for me, they need to be big and soft. But the problem is when you clean them, they separate like this. That's okay. They're gonna come back. As it dries, just take your fingers like this and run it over them, and it'll fan out again. But you do need to clean them, and I find soap and water works better for preserving the fluffiness of them, which is their #1 quality for me, versus mineral spirits. If I put this in mineral spirits, it's gonna kind of stay like this for a while, which is kind of oily, and no, I don't like it. So soap and water for my fan brushes. I forgot this one, it should get conditioned at some point. And any questions, hit me up in the comments. It's good to be back. I have a whole list of things to address, and we're going to revisit some subjects from last year because I have new things to say. Welcome back to Studio Life.